Amazon's new AI-empowered search. What does this mean for you and your future as an Amazon seller? And how should you be shifting your advertising to keep up in today's market? Let's talk about it. So if you were not aware, Amazon has actually rolled out an AI-empowered search called Rufus. And everyone's up in arms. Everybody wants to know how this is going to work. What is this rollout going to look like? So let's talk about what Rufus looks at, how they serve up options to customers, and how shoppers can actually interact with this. Then we'll get into some of the downfalls of the current Amazon search, what that looks like from a consumer end, and then we'll go into what does the search look like for advertising, what are the updates that Amazon's currently rolled out in their advertising platform that I see trying to get ahead of and work and play nicely with this new AI-empowered search. And then we'll talk about how you should be focusing in on your keyword ad strategy in 2024 and beyond. A lot to get to, so let's dive right in. Now, I'm going to leave a link to this blog post in the description. If you look up AI search on Amazon, you'll come up with a lot of different articles. I prefer to go straight to the source. And so if you read this, Amazon actually shows, and they provide a YouTube video, which I find very handy, as to how this AI-empowered search actually looks. What is the shopper's interactions with this, which can be very helpful. They also give you clues as to what Rufus is actually scraping. What is it looking at? What is it querying when it's trying to, again, help consumers just get to the products they're looking for the quickest and find the options that are the best for them. So if you look at it, the AI-powered expert shopping assistant trained on Amazon's extensive product catalog, customer reviews, community Q&As, and information from across the web to allow customers questions on a variety of shopping needs and products and provide comparisons. So their idea is for, instead of a shopper having to go onto Amazon and say, okay, I want a coffee maker, they can clearly define the specific coffee maker they're looking for, what their actual needs are. So if, for example, do they need to make sure that it lasts a long time? Do they want something that's easy to clean? Do they want something with a couple of different options when it comes to how much coffee is produced? You know, all of the things that a consumer would be looking for and typically have to scan listings for or do much more of an extensive search on. They can do that very quickly using Amazon's AI generated search, which in my personal opinion, I think long-term, this can provide a really good consumer experience. But what does this mean for us as Amazon sellers? Does this mean that total traditional search is completely out? Not necessarily, and especially not as of yet. So the way that this is going to work in terms of rollout is this is going to be an additional sort of add-on search function. It's not going to completely replace our more traditional search functions. So the way this would happen, a shopper would go into Amazon, they would type in a specific search, and then they would also be given the option to have sort of like an AI conversational interaction with, their, in regards to that search. They can ask, a couple prompted follow-up questions and be served up, specific lists of products based on what it is that they're specifically looking for. So that's all well and good. And that might, long term, we'll have to see how that works. Does it completely get rid of rankings? I'm not quite sure. Time will tell. But in the meantime, it doesn't necessarily mean traditional search is going away. And in fact, if the shopper is not really getting what they want from the AI search, if they're having a poor interaction, if it's not really working, they have the option to swipe away and simply go back to their traditional searches. So potentially shoppers may use this to kind of get an idea, maybe quickly define more of what they're looking for, and then use traditional search to look for and find products to purchase. Again, time will tell. We'll have to see what this looks like. So that's kind of how this looks and what the rollout is, but maybe some of the downfalls and why I think this is a really good thing and a really good move on Amazon's part when it comes to sort of using AI to enhance their current search availability in their search algorithm. The thing is that the Amazon search, while it does a really good job when you have less defined shopper search queries. So, for example, women's tops or women's summer top, or we can talk about women's summer top casual. We can look for all of these different things, and you can see that the search does quite a good job of serving up relevant products, right? It's not giving me a bunch of long sleeve when I search for the keyword summer, because it kind of correctly infers that, okay, in these cases, most people don't want to wear long sleeves, and they would be correct there, right? But where the current search algorithm falls really short, and honestly, one of the distinct advantages you can make up for if you're running a really good defined ad strategy, more on that in a second, is it really falls short when it comes to very specific and defined shopper search queries. So you can see in this search query that I just typed in women's black button up with bell sleeves, this is a very specific search. And when shoppers are looking for products with this amount of specificity, what you find is that they're ready to buy. They're saying, I want this exact product. Amazon, please give it to me. And, clothing is very relevant for us. We advertise for a lot of clothing products, but you will also find this in a lot of, like, say, automotive, maybe, like if you have a bunch of screws or very technical parts, or anything that a shopper would say, I want this very defined thing. What you will find is that the search algorithm falls a little bit flat here, at least the current search algorithm. And so here I have, again, I'm looking for something very specific. I want it black, I want it button up, and I want it with bell sleeves. And the first product, which again, we'll talk about ad strategy here in a second. Here we have black button up bell sleeves. Got it right, got it right, got it right. These are actually essentially the same products, but different brands and different price points. So it's kind of interesting. But here you can see on this one here, which is one of our top ranked ones, we got it black, we got it button up. This is not a bell sleeve. We got it right here, but as we go down, this is an advertisement. This is not a bell sleeve here. Wrong, not a bell sleeve, not a bell sleeve, not a bell sleeve, not a bell sleeve. Advertising, not even black anymore, and not bell sleeves. Black and button up and bell sleeves. Okay, so in theory, if we're looking at, is this specific to the shopper query, you would have think this product would have been ranked a little bit higher, which in this case, in the, again, this is the more classic traditional search algorithm, you'll find that it's not. In fact, it's lower down on the page. And this has to do with a very interesting thing that this algorithm has to account for is they're looking for a good shopper experience. And Amazon has chosen to define that by positive interactions of shoppers with products. So for example, Amazon is looking for positive things like the conversion rates or the click-through rates or add to carts or positive interactions with the products. And what happens is when you get to these very defined queries where, to be honest, I'm not even sure how many products, there might be no search volume for something that is this defined, Amazon has this problem of lack of data. So what it does is it does look at the product attributes to help define. It also looks at things like categories and browse nodes so we can make a better decision. And it doesn't do a bad job or a completely poor job. I mean, it is serving up a lot of black and a lot of button ups and in some cases bell sleeves, but you notice that it's not really getting it right all of the time. And in fact, if you scroll down further, you can see it's getting farther and farther away from my very defined search because it's simply looking to fill up this page in a lot of times with products that it just knows what kind of the past shopper interactions and search history is. And this brings me to the thing that I, as a consumer, find very frustrating is whenever I go and look for something that is quite defined and very, very specific, I will find that the search algorithm will serve up some decent options, but I know it's not giving me everything that's available in its catalog, because I'm confident with the amount of products that are being sold and listed daily on Amazon, there is probably a lot more products that more specifically fit my exact search criteria. But because there's not a lot of history on those products, because they don't maybe have a lot or potentially any sales, they're not getting served up in my search results because Amazon's uncertain of that correlation, and they're choosing to specifically only look at past history, positive history of products. And that, of course, is where advertising comes in. You can sort of get or shortcut a lot of that positive history in terms of click-through rates, add to carts, and sales by getting visibility, sort of, jumping the gun or jumping your placements and getting that visibility through advertising, which will lead to all those positive triggers, which will lead you to better rank in the search results. And just to kind of look at what that looks like with side-by-side comparison of the Amazon search algorithm and then going to something like Google, and then even further going into Google Shopping, what you will find is when I have a very defined search like this, the Google Shopping algorithm actually does a better job at serving up much more specific search results to my exact queries. Now, do they get it a little bit off sometimes? Yes, but you will find as I scroll down, I'm not seeing the results move farther and farther away from my actual shopper search. And that is because the Google algorithm is simply looking at where can I find these specific items, and I want to serve those up, while Amazon is also layering in past shopper history in terms of, again, add to carts, click-through rates, conversion rates, positive triggers, and overlaying that with their search results, which unfortunately oftentimes pushes a lot of other more relevant products to very specific queries. They're just not available on those search pages. So what does this mean in terms of where you should be focused on in your advertising? And then how can you better sort of move and think about sort of aligning yourself with this new world of AI search? So honestly, how you should be moving, what you should be looking at in terms of your ad strategy is more honestly leaning into the strategy that we've been using at Junglr for 4 years, going on 5 and 6 years, and really where Amazon search is moving and what is Amazon is continuously focused on, really just validates our theories and how we choose to approach this. And what is that? That is to look at your search queries and do your best to be helpful to shoppers. You want to, with your best ability, lean into helping Amazon create a better shopper experience. And what does that look like? It means when we have a women's black button up with bell sleeves, we should be looking at these search queries and seeing, do we have products like these that very specifically fit these shopper searches? And can we leverage our advertising to show up on pages like this? So instead of them having just 1 or 2 of their specific items covered, we can make sure that we have products that fit all of their search criteria. So that's looking at things like relevancy, and that's also looking at things like where are we seeing the positive triggers? Where are we seeing those conversion rates? Where are we seeing those click-through rates? Where are we seeing those add to carts? Where can we help the algorithm do a better job of showing up our products to the exact shoppers that are looking for them, and making sure that all of our aggressive advertising is mainly focused on those things. And then, of course, making sure we have quality products and quality listings that can also speak to those customers and provide sort of the experience it is that they're looking for. So that is a new update on Amazon's algorithm. It's an exciting one. We will definitely be keeping an eye on this and see any future updates or rollouts. And you can bet that we're keeping an ear to the ground and making sure to adjust our ad strategy based on the where Amazon is moving. And again, if you would like a link to this blog post from Amazon, make sure you check out the link in the description and subscribe, because we will be putting out more information as it comes from Amazon.